So we're live. So today's topic, what do you want to talk about? Mental health, or what was the other one we talked about? Or you wanted to continue on relationships, or did we get any requests or anything? I think I have some in my inbox.
One request was that you didn't finish a story on women's sexuality that you were explaining. I don't know what it was. I can't remember it now, but I think you left some people hanging with how it resolved. I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but that's one of the things that I got as feedback.
On women's sexuality?
Mhm.
Um, the only thing I can reference, and if anybody has the time, is maybe, did it come from a female?
Mhm.
So my huge suggestion, if you're not a reader, I apologize, but is Sex at Dawn. I think Sex at Dawn is just one of those books that I always recommend because it's eye-opening. But it does read like a thesis, so it may lose your interest. But I like it. It's one of my faves. Just because it breaks down how we were primitively and how we are now into how we evolved to the way we are now. Because a lot of this doesn't make sense to a majority of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like sexuality. I mean, I remember how long it took me just to figure out how to stimulate a woman. You know what I mean? Like it's just really, it's a lot of trial and error. And if the girl isn't saying anything, then what do you do? You know what I mean? Like how are you sure that what you're doing is satisfying her? And everyone has sexual differences, right?
Absolutely, yeah, I think so.
But, well, I mean, if you go into Pornhub,
you mean preferences, right?
Preferences. Yeah. If you go into Pornhub, there's really, taboo subjects like sleeping with your stepsister, and there's like really naughty ones like sleeping with your stepmom, and then there's really disgusting ones where it's like beyond anything I could imagine. But everyone has different sexual things that stimulate them, and I think it's cool that you could have that conversation with your partner. You might freak them out if you disclose it right up front, but maybe not. And I think communicating before you do is key. Everyone should have a safe word too. Mine's marshmallow, but well, I'm just saying, like, if you have somebody new that's coming in, especially if you're a male and the female is unsure, just casually say
marshmallow.
No. Just say, hey, and you could do it even jokingly. You can be like, hey, my safe words, and say something silly, like whatever, but make sure that's your safe word. Not to make it awkward, just say, you can say it jokingly, but just make sure that they understand that that's your safe word. And then, if they're doing something that you're uncomfortable with, you can say marshmallow, and then they'll freeze. They'll be like, whoa, are you serious? And then you're like, yeah, I don't like that shit.
That's a good thing. If you haven't had the communication talk about what you like sexually, then yeah, for sure. But what if you're in a situation where I've been in the situation, so this is why I'm
asking.
Great,
I'd love to hear.
Well, hold on. Let's back up for a second.
Okay.
I kind of want to just tell and address people that are going to watch podcasts and have their judgments on us. Kind of want to let you guys know that there are times when I don't explain thoroughly as much as I should, and so sometimes things come off differently, not the way that I intend. Like last week, I think it was something about children. And I don't necessarily think negatively of them. I think it was because they're from a baby's, from when they're born up to when they know right from wrong, and maybe even a little bit further, children can be selfish. So I don't mean all children are selfish. And so sometimes I don't explain myself. Just want y'all to know I don't feel negatively towards children or women. I do have I do use words to express myself, and sometimes they're portrayed incorrectly. So give me a chance and address it. Yeah,
so
I'm inarticulate.
I'm inarticulate.
Yeah, so give me a chance to explain by sending a comment or commenting on the video or whatever, and I'll tell you exactly how I feel and what I really mean behind that. as far as safe words and sexual experiences, what if you don't like something that they're doing and they think that they're really good at it? Then would you say? Because
I
I
know
had,
what you're getting at.
man, for about a
I
year, I had to swallow my pride and
You
not
can't
say
do that.
shit,
You
and it
can't do
was
that.
rough. I was
No,
like, no,
no, man.
I
Like,
suffered.
no, you just be like, I think people are really prideful when it comes to sex. Like, if you tell a guy, hey, you suck at sex, that's gonna fucking eat him up,
Mhm.
you know. And if you tell a woman, hey, you suck at head, I mean, that's just gonna eat them up too. And they could be like, hey, um, my ex-boyfriend loved it, or you know, whatever, and they think they're the bomb. But everyone's different. Everyone's body's different. So I think that if you were to have just, you know, after it happens the first time, just be like, hey, you know, that was wild, and just lead in that way, and then just say,
Is that how you'd start off that conversation?
I think I would. I think
That was
I'd
wild.
be like, hey, that was wild, and then it intrigues her, like she's not, or him, and then just be like, hey, you know, fellatio, or whatever you want to call it.
I don't want to
And-
risk that first opening statement because if you say that was wild, oh, did you like that? I'm gonna do it again next time.
Well,
I'll do
well,
it
see,
better.
this is okay. So I'll give you myself. I don't really enjoy oral sex, meaning getting it. I don't. I would rather do something else. It's not my thing. I know some people, some guys love it, and some guys say they like looking at them. Some guys say that they enjoy like the power seat that they're in, and then I've also conversely heard women say that they like controlling a man from that position. So whatever gets you off, fine. But I'm not a fan. Not a big fan at all.
Wow.
So I would, yeah, and a lot of people tell me that they freak out. But I would rather do other things. So that's just me. So I would say, hey, I'm a little different than most dudes probably. So I don't really like it like that. I mean, it's cool or whatever. I'm just different, and I'm sorry I'm weird. So you can put that back on you.
Mhm.
Just be like, I'm sorry I'm weird. I know I'm not like most people, but this probably goes back to what we're talking about. Let your vulnerability be your guiding light.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Bob Marley says, my fear is my only courage.
I'm weird because I don't like scraping, and your teeth are just a little bit in my way.
See, but that's
See, that's what I mean.
okay. So you know how you
Shit
say
like
that, right?
Yeah.
There are ways that women can do that, and it does feel great.
I still have yet to experience
Okay,
that.
we're just different, man. Like maybe we're circumcised different, or you're not circumcised, or whatever. I don't know, but it's just it's preferences.
Yeah, it's
And
preference.
if you have the conversation, because every woman's different, and that took me a while to understand how women are just different sexually. Some women you can really hurt them. I mean, and they're hurt, and some women you're not doing anything to them, and they're like, hey, you're not stimulating me the way I need to be stimulated, so you need to have the conversation. It's good.
Yeah, definitely communicate. So, which I think, and we kind of went into it already, is part of the relationship or the ongoing relationship thing, because that's a big topic, right? And we agree that it's a huge topic and it's in everybody's life. So
It just explodes into too many different
categories and small
just
little subcategories.
little nestles, man. It just goes all over the place.
But you know, communication is definitely one of them, and I think it's extremely important to communicate. To be able to communicate with your partner. My last partner and I, when we communicated, it was like I would say one thing, and she would get 3 different meanings out of it. They were all different, and I was like, "How did you get that? Like, I have no idea where you even got that from. Explain that to me." And then she would explain it to me, and it would make no sense to me. So we had a hard time.
Well, you're coming from, because it was your position, you're coming from I guess you could say a dominant position because you already understood what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of goes back to what I said, is it means shit unless they understand you.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I mean. So communication is the other topic. After that, when in relationships, because we already went through attraction and compatibility, and then maybe it's trust and communication, or could that be in the one?
I don't know how different people define trust. So you'd have to set those parameters. Like, what do you think is trust? Like, not saying hi to a girl you hate at the grocery store. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it involves all of it. Like, I mean, even your communication, being honest with them about everything. Like, I think it's extremely important in a relationship to communicate as much as you can without offending the other person and trusting them that your communication is authentic and not fabricated in any way.
Okay, so you've been up to bat on relationships quite a few times,
Hmm. Oh,
and
I mean, I guess so. Compared
I've
to,
only had three significant girlfriends that I would say um, were significant in my life. Doesn't mean I didn't fall in love more times. I'm just saying three that I would say, hey, that's it. And those women, um, and some of them at the time, girls, they 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 did everything differently, completely different.
what do you mean, from each other or
Yeah,
from
from each other.
uh,
They were all very different people.
very different experiences then with each one of them, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
culturally, and religiously, and everything. So it's an adjustment, and it's talking, uncomfortable conversations. You got to have those.
Hmm.
You got to have those talks that where you're like, ugh, I got to bite the bullet on this one. But
Yeah.
with me, I like addressing the elephant in the room. I don't like the bullshit. I don't like to play like, hey, how's it going today? When you know you guys just got in an argument over something, and you're gonna pretend like it didn't happen. Like, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way and move on.
Yeah, it's a good tactic.
That's the way I do it.
It's not always easy though. I mean,
It's never easy. It's not easy for me. It's uncomfortable for that growing thing to happen. It's not easy for anybody to have uncomfortable conversations. No one.
do you think, man, I don't know. I guess so. For me, we had that conversation about the girl's teeth, you know,
Okay.
and so for me in that situation, um, when I did finally, when I was finally honest, it hurt her feelings, right?
You let it go on too long.
Yeah, I let it go on too long. So things changed after that with that in respect to it, and I was fine without it because I was like, I ain't going through any more fake pleasure, in my mind. So I was happy with it, but it did take a while, and it's not something that I found. When it comes to like advice, everybody usually has one person that they would talk to, or maybe discover what they think, and then analyze which is the best possible situation. At least that's how I handled it. So even though I'm a grown man, I feel like I want to get other people's perspectives, no matter what. Even if I disagree with them, even yours, which 99% of the time we disagree,
Hmm.
but I still want to hear what you have to say about it. And I want to evaluate every single person's opinion on it and then decide from there which way I want to go. 'Cause I'm still going to do what I want to do, but maybe they have something better that I didn't think of. So that's the reason why I do that. So for me, I didn't have anybody to ask for advice on about that situation. I just kind of had to
Really? Do you
just
know
go
how many
about it.
men you could talk to about bad head?
Yeah, but they don't know my girlfriend at the time, so that was the reason why. I didn't know how to
I
talk
didn't
to
know.
her or approach her about it. That's my problem.
I still don't know. I
Mm-mm.
don't know her. What I'm saying is, that, I mean, I don't understand what your apprehension is on
Yeah,
expressing
because
yourself with another.
well, because everybody has this image of a relationship outside of closed doors, right? But when the doors are closed and it's only you and her and it's a personal, intimate thing, then it's different. So you don't want to just put her on blast with other people, and it's not even that she's on blast, but they don't know how she would respond, what kind of person she is, how she acts, like whenever anything happens in her life, and whenever I tell her anything. So I felt like it was something I had to come to a decision on.
I think that's kind of an issue too, right? Is that we don't talk because I don't have any of these issues, but also I've been married for a long time, but I'm very open. The only things that are private in my life are the things my wife says do not bring up. But if it were me, I'd shout it from the rooftop. Whatever you want
Yeah,
to know, whatever it is. But I
that's years of experience, though. That's years of being with the same person too.
well, no, it's also just I'm a loudmouth, I guess. I'd rather just get out of the way. Look, nobody can use it against you if you've already laid it on the table, right? What do people use against you? Surprises, things that you're shocked that they found out about, and then who are you mad about? You're mad. Um, to the person that you told.
No, they could use your faults and your flaws and the things that you do incorrectly in life compared to what the normal standard is. So, I mean, they could use anything against you, any of your weaknesses and your flaws. So, yeah, I mean,
I tell my friends, don't tell me anything. And they're like, why? Because whatever you tell me is not confidential. And it's not. Like, it's all up for grabs. Because I'm going to use your experience. And if somebody else has your issue, then I'm going to use that as an example to them. Because maybe it helps them. And maybe I don't say your name, but I'll say what your circumstances are. And then we'll move on from there. But you can't blame me like, oh, well, I trusted you not to say this. Don't trust me.
Mhm.
That eliminates a lot of things because you're like, hey, if you tell me something, then I'm just going to tell someone. And not maliciously, but it's probably going to slip out. I'm going to be a little drunk, or my intentions are good. I'm trying to help somebody else. So don't tell me. If you really don't want someone to know, don't tell me.
Mhm.
But if you need advice or help, then I'll do the best I can.
Yeah. Well, that's you. And a relationship has communication in it.
Sometimes.
Which one doesn't?
The
'Cause-
ones that don't last, the ones that are eroding.
No, not in a relationship, not in every relationship. I'm saying every important thing, in my opinion, that's how I feel about it. It's important. In a relationship,
Every successful
compatibility.
thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's what we're talking about. We're trying to help people with successful relationships, in my opinion, right? I mean, what are you?
No.
You're giving information on relationships for what?
I'm just telling them how I do things, and then I mean, I'm not.
But you're in a successful relationship, so you're giving
I
good
am.
advice.
I am, but not everybody can do what we do. I mean, look at the responses we had, where
Yeah.
people were like, I don't think I could give up that. I could give my spouse that much freedom, or whatever. Just I'm just different. So I'll just give an example and give them studies and stuff like that, but there's no way that I'm there with you, especially if you include children in I'm useless.
Mhm.
Because children barging in, like when you're having sex, I don't know how to handle that. Like, what do you say? I was wrestling with mom? I don't know. What do you say? I don't know. Like, I would just tell them the truth. I'd be like, you know how you got here? This is what we're doing, and this is our private time. But some people don't want to share that with their kids.
Yeah.
I would.
I don't know how I would handle that. I think I'd be really careful with that, and I'd put a lock on the door, or maybe more than one lock on the door, and hope and pray that I don't forget to unlock or lock it.
I know, and then because I'm not a parent, or I mean, I've said this 1,000 times, but then like you still want to be aware. You don't want to lock a door with children, and there's electrical sockets and water and knives and everything else. So I don't know. I don't know how to handle it.
Regarding relationships, we have important topics like the first one will be attraction, the starting a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Then communication, or is it trust, or is it both at the same time?
I don't really care for trust.
No?
No, that's not one of my, like, I'm not like, I have to be able to trust you. I don't.
What about her?
I trust myself.
Her needing to trust you,
Well, that's,
because you're only looking at it from your perspective. I'm
but
talking
that's her
about both of y'all.
position. If her position is, hey, I have to be able to trust you, and then, okay, what are your parameters for trust?
I'm willing to bet that 90% of the women in the world nowadays feel completely different about that. I think they need trust. And any guy, even to go on a second date with the guy, like, I mean, she's got to trust him to a certain extent or feel like there's no threat. So trust is an issue, and it definitely comes up. I mean, because
But what could I possibly say in order to reassure her that she can trust me? Because what do guys do? They're full of fucking shit, dude. What do
Yeah.
they tell? I mean, they're in the inbox. I'm gonna do this for you. I love you. Blah blah blah. And then what?
they charm a woman
Yeah, they're gonna tell them everything to reassure them.
to make them
But
trust
what's the
them.
reality?
But they make them trust them.
Yeah,
so
but what's the reality?
the reality of it? Well, yeah, but that's not the same thing. I mean,
Yeah, of course it is. Like, what can I tell a woman that's gonna reassure her that everything's gonna be peachy?
I guess it just depends on how you portray yourself and how you get them to trust you. But trust is definitely there.
I mean, I'm just going to be myself, and she can decide whether or not I'm trustworthy.
Hmm.
I'm not going to reassure her on anything.
But my point is that trust is there. It's still important. It's gonna be there. It has to be there.
It's not a. What I'm saying is, it's not a deal breaker for me.
Not for you. It's not.
No.
I guess not for me either. Not right away, at least.
People are
Later.
going to deceive you. Like, how many times have you gone to a strip club and the girl told you her name was Fantasia? I mean, you know, like, and then later on you get to talking, and then she's telling you all about her life, and she tells you, you know, that her name is Stacy and she lives here, and that you should go and visit her here. How many times does that happen? A lot. There's that defense that they always put up, and I think people do that. I don't. I mean, with me, I'm like, here's what I am on the table. I promise I'm not hiding anything underneath, but you're going to have to find out on your own. That's the journey. It's the journey, man.
That's interesting. That you see it that way.
Well, it's just like friendships. It's just like anything else, right? Like how far can you trust me?
They have to. I mean, it just comes in time. I tell every person that I ever date and consider being in a relationship with, and maybe this is wrong. I just feel like my experiences have caused me to do this. I always tell them, look, I don't want you to trust me right away. I want to earn that, and I want to establish myself with you and make you feel like you can trust me.
I think that's a creepy conversation.
It's a conversation that needs to happen, though.
You think that if you were to tell a girl right up front?
No, not up front. No, not up front.
Okay.
No, this is after. Yeah, you don't.
I don't.
Hey, what's up? I'm Frank. You're gonna have to earn my trust. I'm gonna have to earn your trust. Yeah.
You sound like a car salesman. Hey,
nah.
You know, go into everything with caution if you have those reservations. With me, I trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can trust myself, then it's just gonna flow. Even friendships. I've never had anyone tell me, you're untrustworthy, you're an asshole. Okay, the asshole part, yes. But the untrustworthy part.
I was going to call you out on that.
Yeah, I get that a lot. But that's because I speak from, I know it's just cliche, but I do speak what's really inside of me. So, and I address the elephant in the room. So maybe the elephant in the room makes me an asshole. But I think you will always know where I'm at because there's no bullshit. But I don't have to convince you of that. You're just going to have to find out.
Yeah, I mean, I know you, so some of the stuff that you say would probably be condescending to some viewers. In fact, I've had somebody say that. They're like, dude, he's condescending as fuck to you. I'm like, that's just Mike. I know how Mike is. So I'm not easily sensitive either. That's just not me. For me, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, I want to continue because it's interesting. And I think it's because we're so polar opposite. Like, it makes me want to hear more. I want to know, where else is your mind taking you? That's how I feel. So I'm like, okay, I'll eat that because I think you said something about it, me not having a good job or something like that. All my jobs have been shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I've worked at awesome jobs, like engineering firms.
I said maybe.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
No, I know, but I wasn't offended. I was like, I don't even care about that. I want to know where he's going with this.
But
so, like, that's
but maybe it's a shit job.
Yeah.
But the management structure, because you even said yourself, you're like, I don't know what a checkup is, dude.
I had never even heard of that before.
Yeah, they just call you in the office, like, hey, how you doing? How's your progress going? Like,
but has it ever occurred to you that might have been a shit job, and then the ones that I've been to have never been shit jobs? Or did you just think right away, maybe you've never had a really good job or something? So it doesn't even.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
Like, in other words, you're probably like, okay, well, Frank's never had a really good job.
I didn't say that. I said maybe. So
to me, it didn't matter. Either way, even at the end of this or whatever, however we resolve this little discussion right here, it doesn't matter to me because I wasn't worried about that. I was more. Yeah. I wanted to know, like, continue to pick your brain more.
Well, if you weren't getting regular checkups, you had shit jobs.
Nah, man. I worked for some engineering corporations and their electronical engineering stuff in Austin and even right downtown on 6th Street. So I mean, it wasn't that. It was just the way that they structured things, and they did evaluations every 3 months and every quarter and every year. So it's just different.
Yeah, it's different. But also, I'd say 90% of my jobs, I didn't rely on my salary. It was all commission or bonus.
Yeah. See, I just was salary. So
Yeah. I can't do that. I can't do that. Like I need to see on paper how much I'm earning the company and then talk about how much that means to my
oh, so that's a different field completely. So that makes a lot more sense now, because your field is more commission based off of, I'm imagining, sales or some kind of a profit thing, right? Because you just mentioned that. So for me, it was more of electrical engineering where there was no direct sales immediately. It took a finished product that we were improving or renovating, pretty much. So
Yeah, it's a different field. Especially like in mortgage, you would see like your numbers in millions of dollars. So you're like, okay, I made this much from them. You got this much in origination points. So that means right up front, you got this. I gave them this interest rate. And on top of that, they signed a 3-year contract guaranteed that you're going to get this interest rate. And the security is if they default on this loan, you get their home.
yeah, it's completely different.
So I need to know that my commission is going to be this because I know that your risk is this small. But at the same time, the trade-off is you're paying my benefits. I get a little bitty salary and stuff like that. So it's just, I guess, different fields.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's completely different fields. Anyways, back to trust.
Yeah, let's talk about. I don't even like talking about them jobs.
Yeah, I don't remember where we were at with the trust thing. Do you remember?
Yeah, we were just talking about how I just don't value trust, and you were saying trust is there no matter what. So,
well, there's some level of it for sure, especially from the woman's side. It has to be.
I think it's unspoken that you're just going to have to earn their ability to see you in the light that you are in. If you're untrustworthy and you're just trying to get in this girl's pants, I'd say a woman's intuition is, you know this, they pick up.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I know sometimes where Ali's like, hey, did this happen? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you psychic? Like, how did you know that? So their intuition is on point. It just is. So if you're just trying to have sex with them, they're going to pick up on it. Doesn't mean you tricked them or anything. They're just kind of gave into it at some point.
They were like, yeah, I'll entertain this fool.
Yeah, but not only that, after a while, they're curious about all the shit you've been talking, and then you're there to disappoint them because you skeeted in 2 seconds. Whatever it was.
Does that happen to you?
Me? I'm a pro at this, man. Now, years and years and years.
No, man.
You want to know a trick? I'm going to tell guys a trick. You want to know a trick?
About what?
About sex? Like if you're going to go, right when you're about to go. I'm going to give you a trick. Okay, so if you're on missionary, this is what you do. You put your head right beside their head, and then you kind of elevate your body to where all the blood is rushing to your head, and that gives you a break. Like the blood is going to your head now. So you just kind of elevate yourself. The blood goes to your head, and then
you mean put yourself lower, your head lower, right?
Yeah, so like she's here, and then you just go here, and then you're like, uh-oh, like it's about to happen. So you just put your head on the pillow and elevate your back so the blood is going to your head so you can last a little bit longer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if you put your head down your head, your blood's going to elevate down there, right?
Yeah, it just goes to your head, so it's not all like in one
interesting.
concentrated section. So, yeah, I've used that trick quite a few times. But if they're on top, I have nothing for that.
Yeah.
Nothing for it. I lose. Or I do that. Hold on.
Yeah.
You just got one arm on the hip, and you're like, hold on. Yeah, there's nothing but the pause. I have nothing. Sorry. If somebody has something,
yeah, definitely add it on the comments for sure.
Yeah, please tell me what you got. Some people tell me like, I think of baseball and something. No, I'm still trying to enjoy myself. Baseball sucks. Like, no.
The other thing was communication, right? Because we were talking about trust. Trust is something that's got to be there in some way, shape, or form with one or the other party. Apparently, not everybody feels that way, but it's definitely going to be there. Communication is a part of every single one of these categories, I think. Being able to talk to your partner, and like you have a really good thing with Ali because you mentioned that y'all have like this communication meeting like over breakfast. Is that
Checkup.
every day? Yeah, you have the checkup every.
Yeah, no. So we do it whenever things are changing, or like, well, she owns her own business, and I own my own businesses, and so normally it's going over like quarterly stuff, or when she wants to do something, we kick it around, seeing if it makes sense, and then our vacations are geared around our talks, and I'm very impatient, so if there's somewhere I want to go, I'll be like, we need to have a meeting like now, because it's already in my head. So we'll talk about things like that. We'll talk about goals.
So in a relationship, when you live with somebody, it's a little different because you're with them constantly when they're not at work and you're not at work, or both. So how do you communicate with your partner that the house needs to be clean, or we need groceries, or you didn't take out the trash, or the dishes are still there, or the refrigerator looks like shit? Like, what do you tell them, and how do you explain it to your girl? Because you do have meetings whenever things are definitely need to be discussed, but on a daily basis, how do you handle it?
Oh man, if the house needs to be clean, I clean it. If my only issue with Ollie, she has too many clothes, so I'm always telling her, hey, you got to throw some shit away. Like, come on, man, you're not gonna wear that ever. Can you please throw it away? And she just has this love for some of her clothes, and I don't understand it. You've worn the shirt enough, or you've had these forever. Let's move on. And fashion changes while we're talking. I'm going out of style. You know what I mean? So just change it up. That's the only issue we have. Washing dishes, cleaning the house. If things need to be done, I do it. I'll do it. Because she's not doing it in spite of me. She's just busy, or she needs time to relax, or whatever the case is. She's not a slob. I know that. So if the house has gotten out of hand, well, I own 50% of that, so I need to go ahead and take care of it. I don't have those discussions.
Really?
No, the only time I'll say something is, we'll do this. She'll say, hey, did you notice I did the dishes? Yeah? Cool. Yeah. Hey, did you notice I folded the clothes? And I'll be like, yeah. And we do that back and forth. It's just kind of a joke thing. I think it's a joke. Yeah. But
so then those daily chores, what happens if you need to go to H-E-B?
I
need
do
a
that.
grocery.
I can't send her to H-E-B. I did today, but I know where everything's out. I'm in and out in 2 seconds. So I do that.
So just out of preference, you just take on most of the household chores and duties.
Yeah, which is funny because one time, it was just years ago, my mom came over. It was, when we first started dating, and my mom looks at me and she goes, why are you doing all the women stuff? And I said, Mom, we don't live in the 50s anymore. I just do it. I mean, if there's things like shoes on the ground or something like that, I'd be like, hey, move shoes. If it's something that I don't want to get involved in, and then, yeah, but I don't care about stuff like that.
Oh. Maybe that's the right way to do it. Maybe it's important not to care about little minor stuff, but
you're going to start an argument.
I'm not like that, because if I've been in relationships where the house I'm very clean when I have my own place. Like, I'm very clean. I want everything where it's supposed to be. There's a place for everything. And so the moment things start to get a little messy, I think the person that's responsible for that mess is the one that should be cleaning it. So I just think that's fair.
What if you cook?
I don't cook.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I cook. But I guess my point to that was, if I cooked, would you require her to clean?
Oh, if she cooked, I would clean. So, yeah,
really?
We had an agreement like that, yeah.
I'll do both, or I'll ask. I'll be like, hey, I cooked. You wash dishes. We don't get in fights over stuff. We don't even bring it up.
Yeah.
No, because like it's both of our house, and I know she's not taking advantage of me. Like I'm not dumb. And she cleans when she does, and she decorates when she does, and I'm happy with it.
That's cool.
Right now the mess is mine because we're reconstructing that room and this floor. So the mess is all mine. But she knows I'm doing it to improve the house.
Yeah. Well, that's different. That one person not... See, that's another thing that's different about us because, yeah, I feel the way I do and you feel the way that you do. You don't care about it and I do care. I think the person responsible for the mess is the one that should be cleaning it unless they're extremely busy, never at home because they're working all the time or something. They don't have the time, then yeah, I don't mind.
Well, Ollie works with her body, so there's that. And then, like I said, she's not trying to con me into cleaning everything.
Yeah, it's just not a big enough issue for you to bring up, is what you're saying.
No, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. For you, you said that you believe like 50. So let me ask you this. On bills, do you do like 50%?
Well, no, I would take on majority of it if the apartment is under my name.
Mm-hmm.
I take on the majority of it, like maybe 60-40, something like that. Like all the bills.
But you have that line, because I've had friends, really close friends, where they split it down the middle.
Nah, I didn't do that.
That's so nasty. It's just so, like, he would tell his wife, you owe me $132.13. And she would have to write him a check for $132.13 just for the electricity.
Nah, that's not cool. I don't think that's cool.
I don't think it's cool at all.
Yeah. No, I would do like 60-40. I take on the majority because I was the moneymaker, and I just feel like it's my responsibility. She's living there as a roommate, pretty much, live-in girlfriend. But yeah, we were nice to each other about that. Money wasn't really an issue ever with us, so.
Ollie has had to hold it down for us. I think I got unemployed years ago, and she was like, she had to take over everything. I couldn't find a job or anything. This was when we first moved in together, and she had to really help out. But if we're in a good spot, then it's not a big deal. But yeah, the roles have been reversed, where she had to pay for everything, and I was this useless dude.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, we're a team though, right? And so she helped.
We are a team. You know what I mean? Like, there's not like, if I'm down, she knows I'm not gonna leave, just sit on the couch, play video games or whatever. That's not my thing. But
or watch MMA fights and boxing all day.
Yeah. Could you imagine? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that'd be a nice life though.
Really?
No, just bullshit. Fuck no, shit gets boring at home, dude. I get bored after.
I get bored.
Yeah.